Dear learners, I am Christina Georgy, your academic counselor for the course code BEGAE-182 titled English Communication Skills. Today we will discuss reading skills. Remember, this is part 2 of what we already discussed on reading skills. Now we are going to study a sure essay question for your TEE. Some of you must have written this as part of your assignments as well, and expect short questions as well, since they have asked you this question as part of your TMA. So prepare an essay, levels of meaning. Okay. So good readers operate at 4 highly interrelated and overlapping levels of meaning, which are they? 1. Literal meaning, 2. Interpretive meaning, 3. Critical meaning, and 4. Creative meaning. So it would be beneficial for you to number and study. Very many times we see people forgetting points. One reason could be because they don't know the total count of how many points there are. Alright. So literal comprehension involves the reader in understanding the information stated directly in a text. So as the very term suggests, this refers to the literal meaning of a text. That is, what is written in it is the meaning conveyed. That information may be facts and details, sequences of events, main ideas and generalizations, maybe causes and effects also. So the key element in comprehension at this level is that information is present in black and white in the text. That is a saying. It refers to the straight meaning conveyed. Alright, let's have a look at the example. If a piece of writing is about someone digging the earth, the reader should be able to state what the person is actually doing. That is, digging the earth as such. No inner meaning, just the straight meaning that is intended. So literal comprehension is of fundamental importance. It requires a thorough understanding of paragraph, sentence and word meanings, and is required for higher levels of comprehension. Clear? So the interpretive level of meaning refers to reading between the lines. So this is what we do when we read pieces of poems, because very often we interpret the meaning of the text. So this is where reading between the lines play a crucial role. So this is done to recognize ideas and information not directly stated. In doing so, the reader must make inferences, and this inferences could be based on the prior knowledge as well. So he or she may have to infer time relationships, the year, time of day and season, geographical relationships, feelings and familiar relationships of characters, etc. In other words, the reader must study the facts given in the text and put 2 and 2 together in making the inference. A lot of interpretation has to be done in this respect. And very often we can see that writers do not always state facts directly. They imply emotions and attitudes and suggest point of view. For instance, an author may not state directly that a particular character is bad, but the words she or he uses to describe that person and the situation she or he presents him or her, that is the character, may convey the author's attitude towards the situation or the author's attitude towards that character. That is, at times, if the author wants to portray a bad character, this author might not directly say that, see, he is a bad character, but he might, that is, the author might be attributing some traits or behavior or characteristics to this particular character, from which the readers will understand that, oh, he's a bad character. Are you following me? So, as a result, interpretive reading also involves finding out meanings expressed through the various literary devices. Have you heard of literary devices? Literary devices. There must be students of English literature also here. Literary devices. So the writer who writes of a character, say he had no heart, does not mean this literally. That is, he or she must not have meant that this character doesn't possess a heart as such. No human being can live without a heart, right? So what he or she means is that he or she is, that is, the character is more like heartless because he is a tough person. He is not an emotional person. So here the author is relying on an idiom to communicate meaning. Similarly, the poet who speaks of crossing the bar is referring metaphorically to death. He or she is not speaking literally of crossing a sandbar. To explain relationships aboard a planet troubled by the problems of limited resources and increasing population is also relying on a metaphor to put his or her message across. So the reader must bring to bear his or her previous experiences with language, literature and life in constructing meanings. So that is interpretive level of meaning. Basically not the literal meaning but the inner meaning, or it involves reading between the lines. Now let's proceed to the critical level of meaning. So this is basically what you do while you perform a critical analysis of a poem. So while you answer essay questions for poetry, at the MA level you are expected to write critical appreciation of a poem. Okay, so critical reading requires making judgments with regard to a text. The reader may judge the accuracy of facts, the validity of conclusions drawn, or the effectiveness of the author's style. For instance, a writer may use very flowery language to create an atmosphere, or she or he may write tongue in check. Critical reading requires giving reasons for the judgment and stating the criteria used in making it, commenting on the views expressed in the passage and the appropriateness and effectiveness of the treatment of those ideas. Suppose you are critically analyzing a work of art. So suppose you are given a piece of poem. Then you will have to read between the lines, analyze the basic ideas and write about it, right? For that matter, you will use your previous information, your previous knowledge also is made use of it. So creative reading calls for the generation of new ideas, insights, applications and approaches. It requires invention, prediction and use of imagination. Imagination plays a pivotal role in creative writing. So is the case with the creative level of meaning. Proposing an alternative conclusion or generalization based on a reading text and suggesting related examples are exercises in creative reading. So if you have creative writing as part of your course, suppose you opt for an elective called creative writing, and one of the activities there is to provide an alternative ending to a story. There you will be presented with a one-page story, and the last part, that is the climax, you will be asked to rewrite, provide an alternative climax. That would be a creative writing, right? So this can be considered as if an example. Composing orally, drawing and writing stories with the same pattern or same words as those in that one has read also can be considered as exercises in creative writing. That is, composing orally, drawing and writing stories with the same pattern are activities in creative reading. Yes. So remember to study this session and make sure that you prepare for short notes as well. Alright, now comes the last and final section here, reading problems.